Discover the touching journey of a lonely girl who amazingly rents a family for just 24 hours. Emma's world was a blur of tree-lined streets with white picket fences, where the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow. But for the 12-year-old girl sitting alone on the swings, it felt more like a heavy fog. Her classmates laughed and joked about weekend barbecues, popcorn movies, and the warmth of family traditions, while Emma, with her single mother working long hours, felt like an outsider peering through a glass window, endlessly longing for that same warmth. She carried the weight of loneliness like a backpack filled with rocks, heavy and draining. One lonely evening as autumn leaves danced in the brisk air, Emma stumbled upon a bold and intriguing ad online. Rent a family for just 24 hours. Intrigued, she scrolled through photographs of joyful families, bright smiles and laughter that seemed to leap off the screen. The idea sent a shiver of hope through her. Could she really experience the love she craved, if only for a day? With a heart brave enough to defy her fears, she clicked book now on what appeared to be the perfect family. The next morning Emma stood outside their home, nerves dancing in her stomach like fireflies. The door swung open, revealing a cheery mother with twinkling eyes. "Welcome. We've been waiting for you," she said, enveloping Emma in a welcoming hug that felt like sunshine. The aroma of home-cooked meals wafted through the air, drawing Emma in. Sunday dinners, board games, and stories exchanged by the fireplace filled the space with warmth she had yearned for. Laughter buzzed like music all around her, and it swelled her heart in a way she had never known, soaring higher with each moment. Yet, beneath the laughter, Emma started to see cracks in their happy facade. She noticed the father frowning at bills stacked high on the counter, his smile faltering as he exchanged tense glances with his partner. Quiet tension skipped through the air when they thought no one was watching. The chaotic pulse of reality flickered beneath their jovial exchanges, and Emma began to feel a strange sense of discomfort amidst her joy. Just as she marveled at the warmth of her rented family, the day spiraled into chaos. An argument broke out, voices rising in a cacophony of frustration and anger. Emma stood frozen, heart pounding, as she witnessed the dismantling of the perfect picture she had painted in her head. Tears sprang to her eyes as the chaotic scene enveloped her, illustrating that family wasn't merely polished moments but messy emotions, vulnerabilities, and complex bonds. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Heart racing and mind swirling, Emma stood at a crossroads between two worlds. The day had illuminated vulnerabilities, showing her that families aren't picture perfect, but stitched together with love and struggle. Would she muster the courage to form real connections, or would the knowledge she gained slip away, leaving her yearning once more? In that moment, surrounded by chaos, she felt the stirrings of hope bloom amidst the fallout, ready to embrace whatever came next. Emma's heart pounded in her chest, a frantic drum keeping time with the argument echoing around her. The mother's voice cracked with frustration, while the father's tones were low and nearly defeated. The warmth that had filled the room just moments ago felt like it was evaporating, leaving only a chill and a gnawing uncertainty. "I just don't know how we're going to make it through this month," the mother shouted, her hands on her hips. Emma shrank back, her instincts telling her to escape, to hide away from the unsettling tension that filled the air like smoke. For a brief moment, she caught the father's gaze. His eyes were not the cheerful, welcoming windows she had imagined. They were clouded with worry, shadows lurking just beneath the surface. It was a look she recognized, a reflection of her own experiences of skipped dinners and worried conversations at home. "Why can't you be a little more supportive?" he said softly, but despair dripped from his voice, thickening the atmosphere. Emma felt her stomach twist. She wanted to comfort them, to let them know that it would be okay, but she didn't have the words. As the argument escalated, Emma felt a sense of desperation. Why can't they just stop? She whispered to herself, clenching her little fists. She was here to experience love and joy, not to be consumed by the chaos of someone else's struggles. She slipped out of the living room and into the hallway, her breath catching in her throat. The walls felt closer, as if they were closing in on her. She thought about her own mother, how much she worked to keep everything afloat, and suddenly she was flooded with understanding. It wasn't just the smiles on the screen that made a family, it was honesty, resilience, and the willingness to face hard times together. Taking a deep breath, Emma decided to venture back toward the noise. She approached the living room door cautiously, her heart pounding with every step. As she peeked in, she saw the parents still on edge, but she also noticed how they stole glances at each other. A flicker of love hidden under layers of frustration. "Can we talk about it?" Emma heard the mother say, her voice softening amidst the tension. A silence enveloped the room, and for an instant, it felt like a fragile truce. Emma's heart dared to hope they might find a way through their troubles. She took a step inside, feeling bold. "If you want, I could help," she said, her voice surprisingly steady. Both sets of eyes turned toward her, drawn by her innocent offer, and in that moment the air shifted. The tension didn't evaporate, but it felt lighter somehow, as if the family had become aware of a little light peeking through the clouds. The father's brows softened as he looked at her. "Helping would be nice," he replied, his voice laced with surprise. Emma felt a spark of courage ignite inside her. Maybe love was the glue that held people together. Even through the most turbulent storms, as the minutes passed, they began to share laughter, stories, and their worries. With every confession, Emma felt that heavy weight of loneliness lighten just a bit. There was beauty in vulnerability, a powerful connection weaving between them all. Just as laughter erupted once more, the doorbell rang, jolting Emma from the moment. She looked at the family, her heart pounding again. Was it another crisis? Who could it be? "Should we get that?" Emma asked, a mix of hope and fear in her voice. Taking a deep breath, she realized she was ready to face whatever was next, whether it brought more joy or chaos. As the father moved to the door, Emma felt a rush of anticipation. Perhaps facing new challenges together was the truest mark of family. Or could it draw them apart further? Each second felt charged with possibilities, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something significant was waiting just beyond that door. What awaited them all could change the course of their newly formed bond. Would this moment strengthen their connection, or pull them deeper into their struggles? Emma could hardly breathe as they approached the door, the unknown looming just out of sight. The door creaked open, revealing a young woman with a bright smile and a colorful bouquet cradled in her arms. Her enthusiasm cut through the tension like a beam of sunlight breaking through gray clouds. "Hi there. Is this the Johnson residence?" The father blinked in surprise, glancing back at Emma and her mother, who wore expressions of curiosity. Yes, that's us," he managed to reply, still caught in the aftershocks of their earlier argument. "I'm Rachel. I'm here for the family rental experience." The joy in her voice felt contagious, and Emma felt a flicker of intrigue ignite within her. Family rental? What did that even mean? Rachel stepped into the living room, a vibrant energy filling the space. "I hope I'm not interrupting anything. I'm here to help you create some fun memories today. We can play games, share stories, whatever it takes to bring everyone closer." She looked from the mother to the father, her eyes twinkling with excitement. "So what are we doing first?" Emma's heart raced. This was unexpected. She could sense the skepticism lingering in her parents' expressions. Rachel didn't seem fazed at all. Instead, she took the lead, putting the flowers down on the coffee table and smoothing her hands over the petals as if they held magic. "Flowers for the family," Rachel declared, beaming. "They symbolize growth and happiness, right? Let us make a little space for joy, shall we?" The mother's brows furrowed, but Emma could see a hint of a smile forming. Something about Rachel's enthusiasm was disarming. Before she knew it, Emma found herself stepping closer, drawn in by the possibility of fun. "Okay, let us start with the game," Rachel suggested, her tone inviting. "I love to hear stories. We're going to sit in a circle and share our favorite family memory. I'll go first." Everyone hesitated, caught between honoring Rachel's vibrant spirit and the weight of their earlier conversation. Emma looked at her father. He seemed to struggle with his thoughts before finally nodding, a semblance of agreement breaking through. "What do you think?" he asked, glancing at Emma's mother. She sighed, her defenses lowering just a bit. Well, it can't hurt to try something new, right? Rallying, they formed a small circle on the living room floor. Emma felt a rush of anticipation as Rachel began to share her story. It was about her family's annual camping trip, a tale filled with laughter, mishaps, and the warmth of togetherness. As the stories unfolded, stories of innocence, joy, and challenges overcome, Emma felt her heart swell. She listened intently, amazed at how laughter began to weave its way through the air, replacing the heavy silence that had lingered just moments before. After Rachel shared another memory about learning to ride a bike, Emma's mother's eyes sparkled with nostalgia. You know, I remember teaching Emma how to ride her bike in the park. Emma felt her spirit lift, realizing that even in tough times, there were still memories to cherish. There was something powerful about how Rachel's presence shifted the atmosphere, bridging the gap between fear and connection as each person shared. Emma felt the weight of her earlier worries lift, memory after memory stitching them closer together. Hope flooded her heart, a realization that they didn't have to bear their burdens in isolation. Suddenly there was a loud crash from the kitchen, cutting through the newfound warmth. The sharp sound sent a chill of dread through Emma. What had happened? Emma's heart raced again as Rachel paused mid-sentence. Her joyful aura dimmed for just a heartbeat. Was that? Yes, Emma said, urgency lacing her voice. Let me check. As she got up to investigate, she glanced back at her family, their expressions curious, a bit anxious. Emma felt torn. Should she return to the chaos or stay in this moment of connection? She took a breath, squeezing her hands into fists. Maybe the unexpected could be an adventure, or perhaps a chance to show them all how love could endure. What if the crash turned out to be something more than just an accident? As Emma stepped into the kitchen, she could only hope that whatever lay ahead wouldn't pull them apart, but rather bring them closer together, where true family could grow. Emma's heart raced as she crossed the threshold into the kitchen. The air felt tense, charged like a balloon about to pop. She braced herself for whatever chaos awaited her, hoping it wouldn't erase the fragile connection her family had just started to mend. The sight that greeted her was both absurd and alarming. A tower of pots and pans lay scattered across the tiled floor, a culinary avalanche that had descended from an overburdened cabinet. In the middle of the mess sat Mr. Whiskers, the family cat, who seemed utterly unfazed by the disaster around him. His green eyes blinked slowly as if to say, just another day at the Johnsons. Well, this is a real catastrophe, Emma breathed out, relief washing over her. It was just a culinary disaster, not the apocalypse. She knelt down, carefully picking up the pans and mugs, every clang reminding her of the tension that had just moments ago filled their living room. Emma! Rachel called from behind her, her voice a mix of concern and excitement. Are you okay? We're fine. Just a little situation down here. Emma couldn't help but smile at the absurdity of it. Mr. Whiskers struck again. Rachel appeared beside her, her eyes crinkling into a smile as she spotted the cat. Looks like he has taken over the kitchen. What a little troublemaker. As they worked together to clear away the mess, Emma felt the tension slip away, just like the remnants of their earlier argument. After a moment, Rachel clapped her hands together. Okay, here's what we're going to do. You, Emma, can be our official kitchen helper, and I'll take the lead. How about we bake something? Cookies, maybe? The suggestion bounced in Emma's chest like a warm hug. Cookies. That sounded perfect. It was something her family did together before things got rocky. She glanced back toward the living room where her parents still sat in a circle. Mom! Dad! Want to help us bake? Emma shouted, her voice full of eagerness. Her mother exchanged a quick look with her father, a silent conversation passing between them. Then, surprisingly, her mother grinned. Sure. Why not? Emma's heart soared as her parents joined them in the kitchen. Rachel took charge, outlining a simple recipe as they all crowded around the counter. Eggshells cracked, flour flew, and laughter bubbled over the sounds of measuring cups and mixing spoons. It felt like a scene straight out of a movie, full of warmth and genuine smiles. In no time, the kitchen transformed from chaos to comfort. Rachel's cheerful spirit kept everyone engaged, and as they stirred the dough, Emma noticed the hesitations in her parents' laughter fading. It felt like the pieces were coming back together, like they were all reclaiming something they thought was lost. Did you know the secret ingredient to the best cookies? Rachel asked, her eyes sparkling. It's a dash of love. Emma's smile widened as her mother snorted. Well, I guess we'll need to add a lot of that today. Time flew as the smells of butter and sugar filled the air, wrapping around them like a cozy blanket. When the cookies finally came out of the oven, Emma couldn't contain her excitement. They were golden brown and looked perfect. Here goes the first taste test, her father declared, splitting a warm cookie in half. The gooey chocolate melted in their mouths, and the sound of satisfied munching replaced any lingering unease. "Okay, I'll admit those are really good," he said, chuckling. Rachel beamed, a sense of victory radiating from her. The kitchen felt filled with light, both from the afternoon sun pouring through the window and from the laughter and connection surging among them. But just as Emma settled back into this comfortable space, her phone buzzed on the counter. She glanced down, and the glow of the screen sent a chill along her spine. It was a message from her best friend, asking if everything was all right after seeing the earlier argument online. Suddenly, she realized the weight of the world was still outside waiting for her. The worries didn't disappear with just a few cookies, and the peace in their house felt very delicate. Emma looked up, hesitating. Would this family moment last? Or was it as fragile as the cookies they had just baked? Did love actually hold them together? Or was it a series of quick fixes like the icing on top? She swallowed hard, glancing at Rachel, who now caught her gaze with a sincere understanding. What would happen if she opened up? The journey ahead felt uncertain, but Emma knew whatever lay ahead, she wouldn't face it alone. But would she dare to share the truth, or keep hiding behind the sweetness of cookie dough and laughter? As she took a deep breath, the question hung heavy in the air. What could happen next if she chose to embrace her fears? Emma stared at her phone, the bright screen illuminating her thoughts. She could hear laughter around her, feel the warmth of her family by her side, and yet a fear began to creep in. The simple moment of joy in baking felt like a fragile bubble, ready to pop with the slightest prick of reality. "Emma, what is it?" Rachel asked, a hint of concern edged into her voice. It took Emma a second to tear her gaze from the screen, to breathe out the words she didn't even know she was holding in. "It's just my friend, she saw the argument online. I think she's worried." Rachel's eyes softened. It's okay to be worried too. Things don't always feel perfect, even when we're trying. Emma smiled weakly, touched that Rachel seemed to understand. I don't want anyone else to know we're struggling. I want to keep this moment alive, you know? Hey, we'll figure it out together." Rachel tousled Emma's hair playfully, despite the serious topic. "We're here for each other. That's what family does." Emma's heart swelled, but a twinge of worry still gnawed at her. Clearing her throat, she turned her attention back to the baking chaos around them. "I guess we just need to focus on our cookies, huh?" "Exactly," Rachel replied, grinning. Emma took a deep breath, feeling a wave of determination. Maybe she couldn't shield her family from everything, but she could hold on to these little moments and nurture the bonds that mattered. She wanted to feel brave enough to speak up, to channel the warmth of this mini reunion into her heart, and fight against the temptation to retreat into silence. As her parents wrapped up the cleanup, Emma felt a gentle nudge of hope. They could have more moments like this. It wasn't too late to rebuild. "Let us take a picture," Rachel suggested, pulling out her phone. "We need to capture this moment." They all gathered around the kitchen island, holding up a cookie with big smiles plastered across their faces. "Say cheese," Rachel cheered, and just like that, their exuberant laughter filled the air again. Click. A snapshot of happiness preserved forever. Once they recaptured their breath, Rachel noticed a plate of cooling cookies. "Saving those for later?" Emma nodded, delighted at the idea. "We can leave some for breakfast tomorrow." Her father laughed at the thought. Now that's a plan. Nothing like cookie breakfast to start the day right. As the room filled with chatter, Emma's phone buzzed again. She instantly felt flat as she checked it, but her expression shifted when she saw it was a different friend, someone she hadn't spoken to in a while. "Hey Em, want to hang out this weekend?" The message felt like a lifeline, an invitation to step outside her bubble. The dilemma loomed large in her mind. On one hand, the idea of interacting with friends felt daunting given the current family struggles. On the other, the freedom of sharing laughter with someone who might not know the full story felt tempting. Emma weighed her options carefully. Should she invite her friend over to experience this newfound warmth in her family? Or should she silence her anxieties and control what others would see? Emma, you okay? Rachel said gently, snapping Emma from her thoughts with a nod. Emma turned her phone face down. She needed to decide for herself, to choose what she wanted. Just then a loud crash echoed from the living room, making everyone jump. What was that? Her father asked, his brows furrowing. Emma glanced back nervously, her heart quickening. Perhaps the world outside wasn't done with her just yet. Her mother moved towards the living room, concern etched on her face. Let me check. With each step her mother took, Emma felt that tingle of worry re-emerge. It reminded her that for every joyful moment shared, there were still shadows lurking in their lives. As she exchanged a worried glance with Rachel, Emma knew this was just the beginning of facing those worries together. Mom, wait. Emma called after her instinctively. But would she have the courage to confront not just the chaos of life outside, but the very truths within her family as well? She stood at the precipice of uncertainty. Emma felt the weight of her choice pressing down. What if facing those uncertainties meant finally embracing the truth about who they all were? Emma's heart raced as she saw her mother move towards the living room, her footsteps echoing with a mix of concern and urgency. Rachel stood by her side, the moment of carefree joy now overshadowed by an unsettling tension. Should we go with her? Rachel whispered, her eyes darting towards the living room door. Emma hesitated. What if it's just something silly? But even as she said it, a chill of fear crept up her spine. The world outside, filled with its perils and unexpected surprises, was a place she was deeply reluctant to enter right now. Let us just check, Rachel replied, a determination in her voice that pushed Emma forward. They approached the doorway cautiously, peering in to see their mother standing there, a frown etched onto her face. A picture frame lay shattered on the floor, remnants of a family portrait spilling out into the chaos. The laughter and warmth of a moment ago felt a million miles away as they took in the sight. Emma's father was already on his knees, sweeping up the shards. Just a little accident, he muttered, but his voice trembled slightly, and Emma caught the worried glance he exchanged with her mother. Mom, are you okay? Emma stepped into the room, her voice barely a whisper. Her mom turned, the worry in her eyes obvious. I'm fine. Just startled, that's all. But Emma could see that the smile didn't quite reach her mom's eyes. The worry was real, and it twisted something inside Emma as Rachel bent down to help pick up the pieces. A silence fell over the room. The laughter had faded, replaced by the stark reminder of fragility of memories that could easily fall apart if not carefully placed back together. Emma's chest constricted with the thought that her family, while still whole in this moment, was quietly teetering. We can fix this, Emma said, a sudden urgency fueling her. We can put the frame back together. Her mom moved to hug her, wrapping her arms tightly around Emma. At first, Emma felt comforted in the embrace, but then a pang of sorrow hit her. What if holding on wasn't enough? What if the cracks had already begun to appear, and they had been too busy pretending to notice? Maybe I should call my friend, Emma murmured. I'm tired of hiding. Maybe sharing with someone who doesn't know our story might help. Or maybe it could complicate things, Rachel interjected cautiously, standing at the edge of the room. Emma sighed, torn between her desire for connection and her fear of revealing too much. Calling her friend would mean letting someone in, challenging that comfortable bubble they had created around their family's struggles. But at that moment she felt a flicker of hope at the prospect of allowing someone in. I just want to breathe without that weight on my chest. With resolve, Emma picked up her phone again, her fingers hovering over the screen. She could reach out, she could defy the silence that had started to fill their home, and maybe, just maybe, she could turn the chaos into something beautiful. Suddenly the doorbell rang, breaking her concentration. It was a simple sound, yet it sent waves of curiosity throughout the room. Who could that be? Rachel asked, eyes wide. Emma's heart thudded in her chest. Would it be someone unexpected? Or perhaps the very friend she had just been thinking about? Suddenly, all her earlier fears fell away, replaced with an almost electrifying anticipation. Their family was about to open that door, an action filled with infinite possibilities. But would this new guest bring a breath of fresh air? Or would it complicate their world even more? As Emma took a deep breath and moved towards the door, she felt the edges of uncertainty closing in again. What awaited her on the other side? Emma's hand trembled as she reached for the doorknob. It felt unusually cold against her warm palm, a stark contrast that sent a shiver up her arm. With a deep breath she turned it and opened the door, revealing a vibrant, smiling face. "Emma, there you are." It was Chloe, her best friend, holding a bouquet of wildflowers, completely unaware of the storm brewing inside the house. "I thought you might want to hang out. I brought these for you. My mom said they might brighten your day." Emma's heart momentarily lifted. The warmth of Chloe's excitement was like sunshine filtering through the heavy gray clouds that had settled in. "Hi, Chloe," she replied, her voice slightly more enthusiastic than it had been moments before. Stepping aside to let her in, Emma felt a weight shift. Chloe's laughter began to fill the house, cutting through the stillness that had clung to every corner. It was as if someone had switched on a light. Yet, Emma couldn't shake the worry gnawing at her insides. Chloe looked around, her eyes landing on the broken frame and the glass pieces scattered across the floor. "What happened?" she asked, her smile fading. "It's nothing," Rachel chimed in quickly, a little too quickly. "Just a little accident." Emma held her breath. Accidents could mean so much more than simple mishaps in their family. She glanced at her mom, who still wore that worried expression. But Chloe just shrugged, taking it in stride. "Well, let us not dwell on that. I thought we could go to the park. Shake off the gloom." Emma's heart raced again. The idea of being outside, of laughing and running with Chloe, felt like the perfect escape. But part of her felt anchored, tied to the heaviness that hung around them. "I am not sure, Chloe. Come on." Rachel nudged her gently. "It's a beautiful day and it could be fun." Emma looked back at her mom, whose eyes spoke of both unease and pleading. She wanted to say no, to stay enclosed in the safety of familiarity. But she also yearned for lighter moments, like old times when laughter wasn't clouded by unspoken fears. "Okay, let us do it," Emma finally said, stopping the internal battle. "Just for a little while." Chloe beamed and Emma couldn't help but smile back, feeling the tiniest flicker of hope. They slipped into jackets and stepped outside, the sun wrapping around them as they entered the world beyond their front door. Once they reached the park, all seemed right, like it had been lifted straight from a fairy tale. Laughter floated around them like music from the little ones spinning in circles while their parents watched from nearby benches. The scent of fresh grass filled the air, blending with the sweetness of blooming flowers. Yet, as the giggles surrounded them, Emma felt the weight of the moment. She turned to Rachel, who stood off to the side, glancing worriedly towards home. "I just wish we could really escape it all." Chloe caught the exchange and raised an eyebrow, noticing Emma's change in mood. "Hey, want to go on the swings? We used to love that." Emma forced a smile, knowing it was complicated, but holding on to the momentary happiness like a lifeline. The friends ran toward the swings, their laughter echoing into the open air. As Chloe gave Emma a push, soaring higher into the sky, Emma's fears began to fizzle away, even if just for a moment. She closed her eyes, feeling the rush of air, the freedom. But beneath it all, a thought flickered. What if this moment of joy was just a brief glimpse before the storm returned? As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Emma took a deep breath, trying to shake the unease that loomed like the shadows stretching across the ground. She barely heard Chloe's next words, her mind racing with the thoughts of home and whether hiding from reality could ever truly help. "Let us call your mom and see if she wants to join us," Chloe suggested, her voice playful. Emma's pulse quickened again. What would that do? Would it bring their struggles into the light? Or would it deepen the cracks? And as they stood there under the fading light, Emma clutched the swing chains, her heart full of questions, a mixture of hope and fear swirling together. What if bringing her into our fun would break down walls instead of building more? The sun dipped lower, and with it, the spark of possibility seemed to flicker uncertainly. Emma stared at her phone, the old familiar weight of uncertainty creeping back in. Would she reach out to her mom? Or would she choose to keep that door shut? Emma stared at her phone, the screen illuminated like an unyielding reminder of the tumult inside her heart. She could feel the rush of fear wrapping around her chest, squeezing tighter with every passing second. "Emma?" Chloe's voice broke through her whirlwind of thoughts. "You good?" Emma blinked, shaking her head slightly. "Yeah, just thinking." Chloe tilted her head, concern creasing her brow. "Hey, I don't want to pressure you, but it could be nice if your mom joined us." To get her mind off things too. I know, Emma whispered, biting her lower lip. But what if it makes everything worse? The question hung in the air, heavy and uncertain. Sometimes facing stuff helps, Chloe encouraged, her voice even and calm. Like, look at the swings. They're fun, but you have to jump on to feel it, right? Emma considered Chloe's words. The swing set creaked gently in the breeze, blanketed by the golden light of dusk, calling to her like a beacon. Just for a moment, huh? She finally said, her heart pounding like a drum. She took a deep breath, scrolling through her contacts until she found her mom's number, spirit faltering under the weight of what this could mean. As Chloe cheered her on, Emma hit the call button, listening to the ringing tone, half hoping and half dreading the response. Hello? Her mom's voice came through, slightly muffled but warm. Mom, we're at the park. Chloe wanted to know if you'd like to join us? Emma's voice came out steadier than she felt. She could picture her mom's reaction, a blend of hope and hesitation. Oh, sweetheart, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Emma's heart sank, but Chloe nudged her, whispering, just hang in there. Please. Emma heard the quiver in her own voice, surprising even herself. It's a really nice day and I want to be together. Silence stretched on the line and Emma's pulse quickened. Finally, her mom spoke. I'll come. Just give me a few minutes. Emma grinned at Chloe, who pumped her fist in triumph. She wanted to scream with joy, but the lingering concern shadowed her victory. Would this be a magic moment of reconnection or open up something deeper? They hung up, and Emma felt a shift. A flicker of warmth spread inside her, teasing the edges of the ever-present tension. What if this is the start? Emma murmured, the thought bold and hopeful. Then they resumed their fun, swinging higher and higher as the last rays of sunlight dripped below the horizon. Each push filled Emma with a blend of exhilaration and apprehension. The spark of joy brightened her spirit, momentarily dimming the darkness she often felt. Oh, look at that! Chloe shouted, pointing towards a group of kids playing tag. Laughter bubbled up around them as the children chased one another, their little feet thumping on the soft grass. It was a simple moment, yet Emma felt the pull of innocence, reminding her of brighter days. Just then, she spotted her mom's figure approaching in the distance. The sight sent a rush of emotions crashing over her: nervousness, excitement, and an odd sense of bravery. Here she comes, Emma said, her heart thumping. Chloe stepped back as Emma held her breath, mentally preparing for whatever might unfold. Would her mom meet them with a smile, easing the heaviness, or would it rise again, layered in something unmanageable? As the distance closed, Emma noticed her mom's hesitant smile. But there was something almost fragile in her expression, the shadows that lingered there. Just like the ones hanging around them. They might be stepping outside for a moment, but the real storm still churned just beneath the surface. Ready? Chloe prompted Emma, nudging her gently. Emma swallowed hard. Feeling the moment hang in the air, the weight of decisions and the gravity of what could follow became palpable. Her mom was almost here, and she needed to choose not just what to say, but how to approach the delicate line of family and friendship that blurred all too often. So what now? Emma asked, her voice trembling with anticipation, knowing this single moment could change everything. Emma's eyes widened as her mom finally reached them. The evening breeze tugged at her mom's hair, a soft golden halo that matched the fading light of the day. She looked tired but hopeful, her expression a fragile mix, reminding Emma of the way a flower bends under the weight of rain. Hi, Mom. Emma's voice was barely above a whisper, but she managed to smile, her heart racing. Hey, sweetie, her mom replied, the warmth in her tone grounding Emma, if only slightly. This is nice. Chloe stepped forward, her infectious grin lighting up the moment. Hi, I'm Chloe, Emma's friend. We were just swinging and thought it'd be great to have you join us. Swinging, huh? Emma's mom chuckled softly, her eyes brightening a little. That sounds fun. As they made their way to the swings, Emma felt an odd mix of comfort and unease. When had it felt so hard to be around her own mom? She settled into the seat of the swing and gave a gentle push off the ground, her feet barely leaving the soft grass. Chloe breathed a sigh of relief and hopped onto the swing beside her. Just like old times, right? Emma nodded, watching her mom take a seat on the swing across from them. The older woman glanced up, hesitating before she started to push off. The swings began to sway, And laughter broke out as the three of them fell into an easy rhythm. Suddenly, as Emma flew higher, her worries seemed to float away for just a moment. But with each return to the ground, the weight of uncertainty settled back. She longed for genuine connection, yet fear held her back. "Emma," her mom said, breaking the rhythm, "you've grown so much since last time we came here. I can't believe how big you are." Emma halted mid-swing, the words filling her with a strange intensity. I miss how things were. Can we talk about everything? Like really talk?" She felt Chloe's glance steady and encouraging, nudging her on. Her mom's gaze dropped, and a shadow crept into her features. "I don't want to make things harder for you. What if talking made them easier?" Emma pressed, her heart racing against the rising tide of emotion. "It's okay to feel scared too. We can be scared together." Chloe watched the exchange, sensing the weight of the moment. "You know, my family has its ups and downs too. But it feels so good to just be honest about it." Emma's mom looked at Chloe, the stranger who somehow felt like a lifeline. Her hesitant smile faltered but returned, infused with a glimmer of hope. "Maybe you're right. Maybe talking could be good." As dusk enveloped the park, a hush fell over them, balancing on the precipice of inevitable revelation. Emma wished she could wipe away the gravity that hung between them. "So, how about a promise? No matter how hard it gets, we share what's on our hearts?" Her mom nodded slowly, the flickering light catching the glisten in her eyes. "I'd like that, Emma. I really would." Just as warm camaraderie began seeping through the cracks of tension, a child's laughter broke the silence. It wasn't long before Chloe nudged Emma playfully. "Race to the slide? I bet I can make it there first." Emma couldn't help but laugh too, breaking the newfound seriousness for a moment. "No way. I challenge you." They sprinted off, leaving her mom behind for just a moment. As they raced toward the slide, Emma's heart danced between hope and lingering fear, wondering what tomorrow would bring after tonight's fragile start. But deep down, a burning question ignited within her. Could this really lead to healing, or would it reveal more heartbreak? Emma paused briefly, looking back to her mom, wondering what awaited them at the end of this journey. Could this be the day everything changes? Emma thought, pushing forward into the uncertain night. As the last rays of sun dipped below the horizon, Emma found herself back in the confines of her home, the evening grown quiet but for the comforting hum of their kitchen. With the warmth of her time at the park still swirling in her heart, every little moment felt precious, more so than ever before. The laughter they had shared lifted her spirits, allowing optimism to bloom. Everyone had returned from the park, but the air was different now. The weight of unspoken words seemed lighter, and the promise they had made hung in the air like a beautiful hush, fragile, yet full of potential. Emma could see it in her mother's eyes, the flicker of hope ignited by their heartfelt conversation, clear as day. This small connection had planted a seed that she hoped would grow. Feeling bold, Emma took a deep breath, mustered her courage, and invited Rachel back over for a simple family dinner together. "How about we bake something together again just like earlier, and celebrate what we shared today?" she suggested, casting a hopeful glance at her parents. To her delight, her mom and dad exchanged a hopeful look, and her mom smiled warmly, the corners of her lips turning up as if a weight had shifted. "Yes, let us make it a family event," her mother replied, a hint of excitement threading through her voice. Emma's heart fluttered with elation as they navigated through assembling ingredients. The nostalgic scent of cookie dough filled the air, wrapping them in memories of better days of closeness. Rachel bounced into the kitchen, her energy infectious. She greeted Emma's mom like an old friend, making the whole environment seem like something out of a heartwarming movie. Together they shared stories from their day at the park, laughter bubbling up high enough to bring tears to Emma's eyes, a sweet reminder that sometimes, joy could be forged even through chaos. Yet, underneath the laughter, Emma could still see shadows. The fleeting glances exchanged between her parents hinted there was a lot they still needed to discuss. What if things didn't hold together quite as perfectly as the dough they were about to bake? But for now, she chose to focus on the moment. She needed to trust they would find their way as they baked. Emma felt a pull to address the worries still tangled deep inside. Between sugar scoops and chocolate studding, she faced them head-on, her heart braver than before. "Mom, Dad," she started slowly, her hands in the mixing bowl. "How about we share what's really happening? Like what you're worried about?" Both parents turned their gazes to their daughter. The kitchen seemed to hold its breath. Her father took a moment, scrunching his brows in thought. Just things have been challenging. He hesitated, choosing his words carefully as if unsure how to share the entire weight they had carried. And then Emma watched in awe as her mother nodded in understanding. "We don't have to hide it from each other anymore," she said, her voice warm but shaky. "The truth is we've been struggling with money and it's hard to talk about." "I feel it too," Emma whispered, her voice quiet but steady. "But I've always wanted us to be a real family." Her mom reached out, finding Emma's small hand in hers, squeezing it tightly. "You are the heart of this family, Emma. No matter what we face outside, we can always face it together," she promised, a fierce determination now threading through her voice. The air in the kitchen shifted, becoming charged with the release of old burdens and the acceptance of reality. In that moment they were no longer standing behind closed doors or awkward silences. Instead, they formed a circle of understanding. Finally, Emma's heart truly soared. They spent the rest of the evening baking, sharing and laughing, blending their fears with flour and sugar, transforming them into sweetness that they would serve together as a patchwork family. As dinner came to a close, the kitchen was filled with the aroma of warm cookies cooling on the counters. They sat together at the table, sharing the first bite. Joy flooded over her mother's face, tears brimming in her eyes, and laughter filled the air as they watched her father struggle with the gooey chocolate chips that kept melting every time he brushed against them. Tonight was just the beginning, though. A renewed spark illuminated the small family. Emma realized that facing their struggles openly could replace fear with love. On the surface, everything may still seem imperfectly perfect, but in their hearts they were growing together. Emma felt a courageous determination swell inside her. She reached for her phone, ready to share tonight's light with Chloe. Hope filled her chest, tinged with gratitude and excitement. They would face life together, and somehow, through their unity, not only would love grow and flourish, but so would their story. "Chloe, you need to come over. You won't believe what happened tonight," Emma texted, sending an invite to spark warmth and friendship. They were writing a new chapter together, blossoming where once there had only been shadows, and just like that, her heart thrummed with quiet joy. The journey continued, and she was no longer alone. Together with her family, Emma was ready to embrace whatever came next. If you enjoyed this heartfelt journey and want to see more exclusive stories like it, you need to subscribe now. Don't wait not even one more second to hit that bell icon so you won't miss a single moment. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others find this touching tale. And tell me your thoughts about this inspiring ending in the comments. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Your support makes all the difference.